The reply came at 3:17 a.m., not decades later, not centuries, immediately. 49 years ago, humanity sent a signal into deep space, a golden record of music, math, greetings, and hope. A cosmic introduction. We called it harmless. We were wrong. The original transmission was never meant to be answered. It was symbolic, a gesture into the void. But last month, during a classified deep space power calibration test, Earth unknowingly amplified that same frequency again, like shouting into a canyon. This time something shouted back. The first detection wasn't made by NASA. It came from a private satellite network outside Las Vegas, a background distortion buried beneath solar interference. Static at first, then rhythm, then pattern. Binary. Engineers assumed it was system corruption, until the pattern repeated, and repeated, and repeated. When translated, the message contained only 2 words. We heard you. Within hours, U.S. Strategic Command classified the signal above nuclear threat level, not because of what it said, but because of where it came from. The origin point wasn't fixed. It wasn't a distant star system. It was inside our solar system, beyond Pluto, moving inward, fast. Dr. Evelyn Carter was pulled from a conference in Boston and escorted onto a military transport before sunrise. No explanation, no time to pack. By noon, she was staring at raw signal data in an underground facility she wasn't allowed to name. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from certainty. "This isn't a delayed echo," she said quietly. It responded in real time. Silence filled the room. Someone asked the question nobody wanted to voice. How close would something have to be to answer that quickly? Evelyn didn't respond. She enlarged the trajectory model. The object wasn't drifting. It was accelerating. And then the signal changed. The second transmission was shorter, sharper, stripped of any recognizable structure. When decoded, it carried 3 words. Too late to hide. The room went cold. One technician whispered, "Hide from what?" But Evelyn was no longer focused on the message. She was staring at the signal's waveform. It wasn't random. It pulsed at a frequency matching human neural oscillations. Alpha wave range, brainwave synchronization. The signal wasn't just reaching Earth. It was interacting with it. At 3:17 a.m. the following night, every monitoring station recorded the same anomaly. A gravitational distortion just beyond the orbit of Neptune. Not an object, a warp. Like space had folded around something that refused to obey physics. Evelyn leaned back in her chair and said the sentence that would never be made public. It didn't hear our signal, she whispered. It was waiting for it. By sunrise, the distortion had moved. Not gradually, not smoothly. It shifted like a glitch. One moment beyond Neptune, the next impossibly closer. No engine flare, no heat trail, no detectable mass that made sense. It wasn't traveling through space. It was bending it. Inside the underground command center, models failed one after another. Nothing in known physics explained instantaneous repositioning. Evelyn made a quiet request. Run neural frequency correlation. A few seconds later, the room went silent. The carrier wave of the signal matched human alpha brainwaves. Not perfectly, but closely enough to disturb sleep cycles worldwide. Reports flooded in. Migraines, insomnia spikes, children describing the same dream, a vertical light in the sky watching. The object crossed Uranus's orbit. Then it stopped. Instantly. No deceleration curve, no transition. Like someone paused reality. High-resolution scans showed the distortion forming sharp, unnatural angles. Geometric, deliberate. And then the third transmission arrived. Not text. Data blocks. Within them, simulations. Thriving alien cities, unknown oceans, civilizations under strange stars. Each sequence ended the same way. The planet surrounded by the same distortion. Frozen mid-motion. Preserved. At the base of every data string. Cycle complete. A technician whispered, "It's a warning." Evelyn shook her head. "No," she said quietly. "It's documentation." Suddenly, the anomaly vanished from Saturn's outer range. Sensors panicked. When it reappeared, it was far closer. Inside Jupiter's orbit, it had skipped billions of miles like stepping across stones. Then every screen in the facility flickered. For exactly 11 seconds, a focused energy pulse shot toward Earth. When systems recovered, a final line translated automatically. Observation nearing end. Evelyn stared at the updated trajectory. The object wasn't wandering. It was aligning with Earth's orbit, and whatever came next wouldn't be a message. The object did not move for the next 6 hours. It hovered between Jupiter and Mars, suspended inside its warped shell of distorted space. Telescopes couldn't see it directly. only the way starlight bent around it, like reality was flowing around an invisible structure. Evelyn barely blinked as new data streamed in. "It's adjusting resolution," she murmured. "What does that mean?" a general asked. "It means we're no longer a distant signal," she replied. "We're a live subject." Deep space satellites began failing one by one. Not exploding, not shutting down, freezing, locked mid-transmission, like paused frames in a cosmic recording. Every frozen satellite had pointed its lens toward Earth at the moment it stopped responding. Then something stranger happened. Global ocean buoys registered synchronized pressure fluctuations, subtle, but worldwide, as if gravity itself had pulsed for a fraction of a second. The distortion near Jupiter rippled in response. Inside the signal data, a new layer appeared. This time it wasn't simulations of alien worlds. It was Earth, high-resolution planetary scans, atmospheric composition, population density heat maps, electrical infrastructure grids. It had scanned us in less than a minute, without sending a visible beam, without entering orbit. Evelyn felt the weight of realization settle in her chest. "It's not here to communicate," she whispered. On screen, new visual constructs rendered in real time. Earth surrounded by geometric lines, sections highlighted, oceans segmented, major cities marked with faint glowing coordinates. Like items in inventory, military command demanded response options. Missiles were discussed, EMP contingencies, nuclear deterrence. Evelyn didn't even look up. "If it can fold space from billions of miles away," she said softly, "it won't notice our weapons." As if on cue, the distortion shifted again. This time not closer, not farther, just clearer. For the first time, its outline became faintly visible through gravitational mapping. A shape, vertical, monolithic, not mechanical in appearance, but structured with impossible precision. Ancient, deliberate, and far larger than expected. Then the fourth transmission arrived. Short, immediate, no symbols, just one translated phrase appearing across secured displays worldwide. Evaluation complete. Outside, the sky remained calm. Airplanes flew, cities moved. People scrolled through their phones unaware. But above them, something had just finished judging an entire species, and it hadn't left. After evaluation complete, the world held its breath. For 17 minutes there was nothing. No pulse, no shift, no new signal. The distortion remained suspended between Jupiter and Mars, unmoving, watching. Then the moon flickered, not visibly to the naked eye. Telescopes detected it first, a microscopic fluctuation along the lunar surface, like a heat shimmer passing across stone. Every gravitational sensor on Earth spiked at once. The object had not moved toward us. It had extended something. Not a beam, not matter, a field, invisible, precise. Within seconds, global satellite networks began feeding back impossible readings. Atmospheric layers were being mapped atom by atom. Ocean depth scanned in perfect vertical slices. Subterranean structures outlined down to mineral density. It was no longer observing from afar. It was sampling. Evelyn stared at a live reconstruction of Earth surrounded by shifting geometric grids. "It's isolating variables," she said. A colonel frowned. "For invasion?" "No," she replied. "For extraction." The word settled heavily in the room. Suddenly, 3 cargo ships in the Pacific vanished from radar. Not sunk, not destroyed, gone. Their last recorded positions overlapped with glowing coordinates on the alien grid projection. Search aircraft found only undisturbed water. No debris, no oil. Like the ships had been erased between frames of reality. Then the 5th transmission arrived. No visuals this time, just structure. An organized lattice of information that slowly translated into something horrifyingly clear. Categories: biosphere, hydrosphere, technological artifacts, cultural records. Each category marked with a percentage. Progress indicators, rising. Evelyn felt her throat tighten. "It's not attacking us," she whispered. "It's processing us." The distortion pulsed once, deeper than before. Across the globe, electrical grids dimmed for half a second. In that half second, millions reported the same sensation. Weightlessness, like gravity blinked. When power stabilized, a final line appeared beneath the progress categories. Initial transfer phase ready. The general started shouting, launch protocols, defense contingencies, evacuation theories. But Evelyn barely heard them. Her eyes were fixed on the live sky feed. Because for the first time, the stars behind the distortion were disappearing. Not hidden, removed, as if something vast was opening behind it. And whatever waited on the other side was making space. The stars didn't come back. Where the distortion hung between Mars and Jupiter, the sky now looked incomplete. a patch of blackness deeper than vacuum, like space had been hollowed out. Inside command, the progress indicators continued to rise. Biosphere, 12%. Hydrosphere, 4%. Technological artifacts, 19%. No explosions. No impact. Just quiet, systematic increase. Evelyn leaned closer to the data stream. It's not removing random samples, she said. It's selecting anchors. Anchors? The general repeated. Stable reference points, oceans, infrastructure hubs, dense ecosystems. It's mapping structure before relocation. The word relocation felt absurd. Yet the evidence refused any other explanation. Another anomaly hit, this time over the Amazon rainforest. Satellites recorded a circular region nearly 2 miles wide flicker like static. For less than a second, it vanished from infrared radar and optical view. When it returned, nothing looked different. Trees still stood, rivers still flowed, but carbon readings had changed. Biomass density slightly reduced. Something microscopic had been taken, refined, catalogued. Across the Pacific, a deep ocean trench registered a sudden drop in water pressure, not displacement, but absence. A measurable volume of water simply ceased to exist. Hydrosphere, 9%. It's calibrating mass tolerance, Evelyn said quietly. Testing what this planet can lose without destabilizing. The distortion rippled again. This time, ground-based telescopes captured a clearer outline of the structure within. Not smooth, layered. Like stacked geometric plates rotating independently, phasing in and out of visibility. Ancient machinery beyond comprehension. And behind it, that deeper darkness. Not empty space. A corridor. A passage large enough to swallow worlds. Then every digital device on Earth flickered. Phones, aircraft panels, smartwatches, hospital monitors. For 2 seconds, a synchronized image appeared. Earth, outlined in light. Segmented by faint glowing grids. Below it, new text translated in real time. Transfer window stable. Biosphere, 21%. Hydrosphere, 15%. Screams began spreading across social media as people noticed something subtle but terrifying. The ocean tide patterns had shifted, by inches. Gravity itself felt lighter. Evelyn whispered the truth no one wanted confirmed. It's not preparing to destroy Earth. She stared at the expanding black corridor behind the alien structure. It's preparing to move it. The corridor widened, not explosively, not violently, smoothly, like a door being unlocked from the inside. Astronomers recalculated Earth's orbital data 3 times before accepting the numbers. Our trajectory had shifted, not dramatically, just enough to measure, a deviation of 0.03 degrees. Impossible without force. Yet no force had been detected. No gravitational spike, no shock wave, just a silent adjustment. Evelyn felt the room tilt, though nothing physically moved. It's sinking vectors, she said, matching rotational velocity before transfer. The progress indicators continued climbing. Biosphere, 38%. Hydrosphere, 29%. Technological artifacts, 41%. Major data centers worldwide began experiencing unexplained uploads. Entire libraries, cultural archives, satellite databases, copied at speeds beyond network capacity. It wasn't downloading through cables. It was reading the electromagnetic emissions directly from the planet, extracting history from the air itself. In Tokyo, a cargo port reported something impossible. A container stack, nearly 50 tons of steel, flickered and vanished for 0.8 seconds. When it reappeared, microscopic analysis showed surface restructuring, atoms realigned, reinforced, as if optimized. It's not stealing randomly, Evelyn whispered. It's preparing us to survive transit. The words felt insane, yet the data supported nothing else. Then came the first visible sign to the naked eye. At sunset across the Pacific, the horizon bent, just slightly. Ships appeared curved the wrong way. Pilots reported that the stars were sliding. Not falling, sliding. Global positioning satellites began recalibrating constantly, unable to lock stable coordinates. The distortion near Mars pulsed brighter than before, and from the black corridor behind it, faint structures became visible. Not stars, not planets, organized lights, clusters, civilizations. Stored, an entire cosmic archive. Every preserved world arranged in distant grids beyond imagination. A final transmission rolled across secured military channels. No threat, no countdown, just confirmation. Planetary transfer initiating. Outside the sky looked normal to most, but those watching carefully saw it. The stars were no longer fixed. They were shifting position around us, as if Earth had stopped moving through space, and space had begun moving around Earth. At first, no one understood what they were seeing. The stars weren't drifting randomly. They were rotating, slowly, deliberately, not around the sun, around Earth. Astronomers across 3 continents confirmed it within minutes. Constellations were realigning in patterns never recorded in human history. Earth was no longer orbiting inside its original frame of space. The frame itself was being repositioned. Inside command, every trajectory model collapsed into error messages. There was no gravitational equation for this, no propulsion curve, no measurable force, just relocation. Biosphere, 62%. Hydrosphere, 48%. Technological artifacts, 73%. Evelyn stared at the rising numbers, her voice barely steady. It's phasing mass out of local space-time. Meaning? The general pressed. Meaning we're already halfway gone. Across the world, anomalies intensified. In the Sahara, a 3-mile stretch of desert flickered like broken pixels. In Norway, an entire mountain ridge registered a temporary drop in mass. Satellites calculated a loss of nearly 4 million tons. But when visual feeds returned, everything still looked intact. That was the worst part. Nothing appeared destroyed, only translated. Then the corridor behind the alien structure brightened. For the first time, detail sharpened. Structures, orbital rings, artificial stars suspended inside controlled voids. Dozens of worlds hung in distant formation, each enclosed within faint geometric shells identical to the one now surrounding Earth. Preserved planets, cataloged civilizations, stored realities. A historian inside the facility whispered, "It's a library." Evelyn shook her head slowly. "No," she said, "it's a vault." Suddenly every screen on Earth activated again. No hijacking signal this time. No flicker. A direct override. One unified message translated simultaneously into every language. Earth specimen verified. People stared at their phones, at airport displays, at traffic billboards glowing with the same cold sentence. Then came the physical sensation. A global tremor, not seismic but spatial, like the ground shifted without moving. Gravity weakened for less than a second. Birds dropped mid-flight. Ocean waves stilled unnaturally before resuming motion. Biosphere, 81%. Hydrosphere, 69%. Evelyn's screen displayed something new. A countdown, not in numbers, in alignment markers. Earth's rotational axis slowly matching a second reference axis emerging from the corridor. 2 worlds syncing orientation. She realized the truth too late. "It's not moving pieces of Earth," she whispered. "It's preparing to move all of it." Outside, the sky darkened, not from clouds, from absence. Stars directly above began vanishing in a perfect circular radius. The transfer wasn't approaching. It had already begun, and there would be no explosion to mark the end. Only a moment when Earth would simply no longer be here. The circle in the sky expanded until half the stars were gone, not covered, not dimmed, erased. Air pressure shifted subtly across continents. Compasses spun without settling. Satellites failed to lock onto anything recognizable. Earth was losing its reference points. Inside the facility, the progress indicators froze for 3 long seconds. Then all categories jumped at once. Biosphere, 100%. Hydrosphere, 100%. Technological artifacts, 100%. No alarm sounded. No explosions followed. Instead, every screen displayed a new status line. Transfer lock acquired. Evelyn felt it before she understood it. Silence. Not the absence of sound. The absence of background motion. The faint cosmic radiation that instruments constantly detected. Vanished. Earth was no longer inside its original cosmic environment. The corridor behind the alien structure blazed fully open. For a fraction of a second, humanity saw it clearly. An impossible expanse beyond the distortion. Structured space filled with stabilized stars arranged in deliberate grids. Worlds suspended inside faint geometric shells. Some blue, some crimson, some dark. All preserved, all silent. The alien structure pulsed one final time. Gravity inverted for half a heartbeat. Every human on Earth felt weightless. Cars lifted millimeters off asphalt. Ocean surfaces flattened unnaturally. Clouds stretched thin. Then, everything snapped. The sky returned. Stars reappeared. Sensors screamed as cosmic radiation flooded back into detectors. Astronomers recalculated position. The sun was still there. The moon still in orbit. Earth's rotation unchanged. For several seconds, the room erupted in confused relief. "It stopped," someone said. "It failed." But Evelyn was staring at a deeper scan of background radiation signatures. The constellations looked the same, but their distances were wrong. Redshift measurements didn't match recorded history. We hadn't returned. We had arrived. A final transmission appeared quietly across secured displays. Earth archive stored, active state preserved. The alien structure was gone. No distortion. No corridor. Just empty space where it once hovered. Outside, life continued. People celebrated survival. News outlets called it a mass hallucination event. Government sealed the data, but Evelyn kept studying the sky, because late that night she detected something faint. A boundary, a geometric shell surrounding the entire solar system. Invisible to the naked eye but measurable through gravitational deviation. We weren't rescued. We weren't spared. We were catalogued, placed carefully among other preserved worlds, alive inside a cosmic vault. And somewhere beyond the shell, something was still watching, waiting for the next signal.